Okay, we're recording now.
Turn. No, he just got back from a 3-day trip to Ohio. For work.
Okay.
I think he's like, yeah.
Welcome to the Bug Out Bag, Get Home Bag, and Everyday Carry Training Class workshop. We're going to be discussing the different bags, what's in each bag, or what you should have in each bag, and the common mistakes people make with the bags. First thing I want to start off with, this will be the last meeting we have in this facility. We've sold this facility. Next month, we will be here. This is 6020 Corona Road. It's about 4.5 miles from here, just west of Dye Road. And we will be having our meetings there from now on because we no longer own this facility.
This was for sale for a long time. Right?
What's that?
This was for sale for a long time.
It wasn't necessarily for sale. We never actually put it up for sale.
Yeah.
They came to us
Oh.
and wanted it because this whole quarter section here is going to become the Mid-Michigan High-Tech Industrial Complex.
Oh.
And originally, they were going to put, Stellantis wanted to put a battery factory in here for electric cars.
Yeah.
That deal fell through because electric car sales plummeted and Stellantis backed out. The state of Michigan has come along and dumped $250 million into the project. You've probably seen signs all around this area that say no mega site. That's what that's all about.
Yeah.
But they offered us a lot of money for, we have 50 acres here and they wanted it. And they offered us a lot of money for it. So we were able to sell this place, pay off our mortgage, buy that place without a mortgage and have money left over.
That's
So
the way to
it
do
worked
it.
out for us. It's a really nice facility and that's where we will be in the future. Okay, the key concepts that we're going to be going over are using layered approaches, use of modules, levels of awareness, use of what-if exercises, training, selection of multi-purpose items. One item can be used for more than one thing. It's better than taking 5 items if one item will do all 5. And the importance of knowledge and skills. The most important thing you have when it comes to bugging out is right here, it's your brain. The knowledge you have in your brain is more valuable than anything you can put in that bag. So the layered approach starts out with mind. We just talked about that. Body. What kind of things do you keep? Physical shape is your body in? Are you going to be able to bug out? Because like me, I'm fat. I got bad knees and I'm old. So there are limitations there. What kind of things do you carry in your pockets? Like my brother-in-law carries a Leatherman with him all the time on his belt. He's got multi-tools on that. But there's other things. You can have a pocket knife or you can have lighter, different things that you can keep in your pockets. What if you're wearing a jacket? There's pockets on your jacket. What would you keep in your jacket? If you have a purse, which I don't have, but you have like a fanny pack or something, what you can put in there. What kind of things do you keep in your vehicle? And what kind of things do you have in your house? Okay, you're gonna see the term CERT on this slide. I got this slideshow from somebody else, and CERT is like search and rescue stuff. We're not really gonna be talking much about search and rescue. We're talking about bugging out, but there's a lot of stuff that's common between the two. So if you see the word CERT, you can just kind of think, okay, it really doesn't have much to do with what we're talking about. But if you ever decide there's a disaster and you want to do search and rescue, there's a lot of slides that I took out of this for CERT. Get a hold of me and I can give them to you. But let's see. It says store fresh batteries near your bug out bags and maintain a reserve of enough batteries to power your flashlights and radios. Why don't you want to store them in your bag?
Legal.
Well, that's it. I have a couple of times pulled batteries out of my bug out bag, brand new in the package, and they were all corroded and nasty. If you got them outside by your bag, number one, it'll remind you to use those and get some fresh ones. And then if you see they're bad, you're not finding out when you're out there on the trail trying to bug out somewhere. Think about before, during, and after. What things will you need, say on the ride home after, well, this is CERT going through collapsed buildings, but let's say, what kind of things are you gonna need for cleaning up? If you go through a nasty disaster situation, you're gonna have some way to wash your hands and clean your body. Says, what about a change of clothes? I know most bug out bags, there's not, if if you keep putting too much stuff in there, you won't be able to carry them. So a lot of people, I don't have a change of clothes in my bug out bag. There's something that I forgot to bring, we'll discuss that later when I get there, which would fall into that category of change of clothes. Preparing coordinated prior to a drill, which is not cheating. In other words, if you run drills with your family, it's an emergency, there's a chemical leak 5 miles away, it's coming this way, we gotta get out of here now. We don't have time to pack a bunch of stuff, we gotta go. What can we grab, how fast can we grab it and get the heck out of there? And that, you do that in a drill and you time yourself and see how much time you need, and that will help you when the time comes to know what it's gonna take to get out. Okay, different levels of awareness. A lot of people in this world, and in this country especially, are totally unaware of what's going on around them. Some people are aware, but it just doesn't really bother them.
Doesn't care.
Some people are on alert, like, this doesn't seem right, maybe I should prepare, and then of course comes alarm, that means things are getting bad, we need to get out of here, and then there's overwhelmed. You don't want to get to that point where you're overwhelmed. Any situation can escalate into a survival situation. Remaining aware of your surroundings is frequently all that is required to avoid serious problems. So always be aware of what's going on around you. When assembling a kit or storing supplies, consider these fundamental questions. What challenges or tasks do you expect to face? What environment will they be used in? And what are the capabilities and limitations? So if you, like my bag, I'll tend to pack and repack differently for different seasons. Like some things I don't need in the summer that I do need in the winter. So you gotta keep that in mind and know the capabilities. You know what your limitations are and what you have, and don't go out and try to do something that you're not prepared to do. What will it take to be successful and comfortable? Well, comfort is a subjective term. Comfortable doesn't necessarily mean sitting in a lazy boy chair, you know. But comfortable can mean dry, fed, and that sort of stuff. And how much can be carried and how far? What is one of the biggest mistakes people make? The bug out bag. They try to be this guy.
Yep, yep.
Somebody sent me this picture, was it you yesterday? I already had it on here, but
Done there, done that.
there's actually one of a woman doing that too. I was gonna get that put on there too. But this is the big thing people make. They put so much stuff in, they wanna be prepared, and then they can't carry it. Best advice I have for people, pack your bag, put it on and go for a hike. You'll come back and take stuff out of it.
Oh yeah.
My bag, this is my bug out bag right here. It weighs 42 pounds. That one over there is my get home bag. I just wanna keep it in my car all the time. We'll be discussing the differences here in a minute. Okay. Once the fundamental goals and level of a kit have been identified, consider the needs for the following categories: signaling or communication, shelter or personal protection, medical, water and food, personal supplies, and emergency devices. If I'm going too fast, just let me know. So I see somebody writing over here, I wanna make sure I don't change the slide.
Easy notes.
Well, I just don't wanna change the slide so soon that she doesn't get it
That's
all.
fine, thank you. It's, that's how I remember as I write it down.
And it's okay to take pictures of the screen if you want to.
And you said you're recording it, so we'll get the recordings.
That's true. It will go up on the Michigan Preparedness website, or Facebook site. Okay, the first layer, protection from the sun, rain, and cold. That could be your jacket, your poncho, sunscreen, stuff like that. Good. Well, what I was gonna say is covered in another slide, so I'll wait. Before you invest in any other gear for your bug out bag, be sure that you have sturdy, comfortable boots. Well, there it is right there. It's not on another slide, it's on this slide. That's what I was gonna say, are boots. Why is it important to have sturdy, comfortable boots?
You're not gonna move anywhere if your feet don't work.
Number one, you don't want to end up with blisters on your feet when you're hiking. And you want sturdy boots so you don't end up with a twisted ankle. Because if you've got boots that don't have your ankle trapped, you can end up, like if you're wearing these tennis shoes like this, you can step on a stone or something, twist your ankle, and you're not bugging out very far when that happens. Your next investment should be a quality poncho. Yes, ma'am.
Tell me more about the poncho. Are we talking waterproof? Are we talking warmth? Everything?
This, I believe, is waterproof.
Okay.
And you can get the cheap ones that are basically nothing but thin plastic. They don't last well, and it's hard to reuse them because they end up getting torn. And so if you can get a better quality poncho, that would be best.
I went to like a mil spec when you get a military surplus store. That's what I have here.
Oh, is that yours? I was gonna say, I got one right in here
I
somewhere.
mean, it could stand out in an urban environment, but you know, it's durable.
Yeah, this is the one that I keep in my bag.
That's not so bad. Yeah, that's good. There's some ones that come in very small squares and they're really thin plastic and they'll tear up
Yeah.
like crazy.
I know I had one of them in my car that came in a kit that I just bought a kit from somebody really cheap. I had it in my car and we were at my granddaughter's soccer game and I grabbed that and put it on. That's the last time I wore it.
You tear it when you put it on. It's that thin. Yeah. You tear it.
Okay,
We use military poncho and just put the movie in there, so you got warmth as well.
well,
Yeah, that's why I got- I got a whoopee.
Again, you gotta be mindful of how much things weigh too. Some people can carry more than others. First line of defense against challenges is small, lightweight, convenient to keep handy. A flashlight,
PVC.
a pen, a cell phone, a whistle, a knife, tissues, emergency contact information, and a survival kit. Why would you want emergency contact information in your bug out bag?
In case you're unconscious.
In case you get hurt out
Well, let's say your cell phone doesn't work,
there. Yeah.
and you're lucky enough to find a landline.
You gotta memorize all those numbers, right?
You gotta have numbers to call. Yeah, I don't have anybody's numbers memorized anymore.
There's some people laminating like a card of like
Yeah.
important numbers
Exactly.
just in
Yeah,
case,
that's a
because
good
you're not gonna
idea.
remember all those numbers now. So.
Another thing, well, we'll get to this in another slide. Items that fit in your pocket on a belt or pouch. Consider how police, EMT, electricians, carpenters, example, how they have their gear managed in belts that they have. Maybe you could consider something like that where you could wear a belt and your bag, you could carry more stuff that way. But again, weight is consideration. I mean, I have a bad back. I put too much weight on me, I'm not going very far. Availability refers to both availability of the kit itself and the contents in the kit. For example, flashlight might be hard to find at the bottom of a bag in the dark. So consider a keychain light. I don't know if you can see this on here, but on both of my bags, I have a little flashlight right here on the outside.
That's good.
That I can pop off and I can then look in there. Let's see here. Pack a kit frequently or urgently needed items in the most accessible locations. And modify your gear as necessary. One of the things we talked about doing, and we were making plans, we were having meetups accordingly. We were going to do a bug out weekend where we went and lived out of our bug out bags, and then COVID hit and everything got shut down for a while, and we never got back to that. We're gonna try to do that again.
Good
But
idea.
we were having training courses specifically designed for that. We had a guy that taught us how to use a bow drill to build a fire and different things, and that was our intention. And we're gonna go back to that and try to get that set up so we can do like a 3-day weekend and live out of your bag. And you're gonna find out where your weak points are, what you're gonna need to replace or get differently or whatever. Keep your kit where you can access it rapidly. Train derailment, train's half a mile away. You gotta get on the road now. You don't have time to dig around for your kit, try to pack stuff in there last minute. You gotta have it where it's easy to grab and go. 'Cause you got a chemical.
That would have been fun.
What's that?
That Palestine, Ohio.
Palestine.
That wouldn't get the hell out of there now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I
Something
mean,
like that, yeah.
sometimes you have a little more time to prepare, but sometimes you don't. You gotta go now. And that's the point of the bug out bag, is have it ready to go at a moment's notice. Keep your cell phone where you sleep. Now, I know it's not good to have it right next to your head, but it would be maybe good to have it in the same room so you're not running around looking for it, especially if there's a fire in your house. And I've had a fire in my house and it's not fun.
Oh no.
Mine wasn't nearly as bad as my grandson's was 6 months ago. He had a total loss in his house. But yeah, house fires are not fun. Let's see, consider keeping your wallet, pocket knife, and keys in your pants pockets or your purse in your bedroom at night. I've done that for years. I'll take my pants off, I lay them down, everything is in the pockets. When I change pants the next morning, I'll move it over. But if I have to get up in the middle of the night and go, I just put my pants on and go. I got all my stuff in the pockets. I don't have to mess around with it. Let's see, and keep your full kit with you at all times. Now, sometimes that's hard to do. If you're going out to the beach, you probably won't have your bug out bag, but I keep one in the trunk of my car. I live 57 miles from where I work. If I'm down at work in Detroit and there's an EMP attack or a solar flare or something and my car won't run, I'm hoofing it home, right?
That's a long walk. Yeah.
57 miles with a bad back and bad knees and old and fat. That's not gonna happen in one day. So I,
57 days to get home.
well, I don't have enough stuff to
Make
last
sure you got enough
57
water.
days, but I got enough stuff to last 34 days. And I have forging skills and different things, cause I understand I'll probably be wearing my work boots too,
Yeah.
which aren't the best hiking boots. So I understand what it's gonna take for me to get home. And so I try to keep stuff in my car at all times if I have to do that. And then another thing is if you get in a snowstorm and end up in a ditch or you're on the freeway and nothing's moving, I got food in there, I got things to keep me warm. My car runs out of gas, or like what happened to me this last week, I blew a radiator hose and was stuck on the side of the freeway with no heat for 2.5 hours till my nephew got down there with a car and trailer. I have things to keep me warm, you know. Let's see. Okay, it says, drop and run evacuation or airlift may be required. Consider a last ditch kit within your kit, your primary kit. The reason why you want that is if they're taking you on a helicopter, they may have weight restrictions on the helicopter. You may not be able to take your whole bag. So what are the things that are crucial that you have to have, like your medicines and whatever? Have that in a separate container inside your kit. So if you can't take the whole kit, you can grab the essentials and go. Which items should be kept on your person? Your ID, of course, knife, capability to signal people, and important phone numbers. Consider appropriate redundancy. In other words, don't have just one match. You know, if you have a lighter, maybe have 2 lighters in case one of them quits working. Stuff like that, but appropriate. You don't want to go crazy. One thing I hear about people all the time, I want to take all this spare ammunition. I'm going to take all these batteries. You're going to carry all that lead around. Okay, good for you.
Double it up. When one doesn't work, you're done, right?
Well, I carry this much spare ammunition plus what's in the gun. There's 30 rounds here. I got 10 rounds in my pistol on the other side.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
And the reason I do that, the statistic is the average law enforcement officer who trains all the time, when he's in a shootout situation and the adrenaline's running and everything, 1 out of 10 bullets hits their mark.
Yeah, you're gonna make dump in that situation.
So if I'm as good as a highly trained police officer, that means I get 1 shot that hits the target and then I'm out. What if I have to lay down cover, some fire to get to cover first? Or what if there's more than 1 person coming after me?
Right.
I want to have extra. So I keep 40 rounds on me when I'm carrying all the time.
Makes sense.
Got a little off subject, but that's all right. Let's see here. When you make copies of your personal documents for your bug out bag, make an extra set maybe to keep at a friend or family member's house. What things you want to take? You want to have a copy of your passport, your driver's license, stuff like that, big social security card. Because, hey, let's say you have a house fire and you lose all that stuff. Or there's a flood, or let's say you have it in your bag and your bag gets lost or stolen. Then how are you gonna prove who you are? So it's good to have extra copies of that stuff. Carry a spare knife or spare flashlight in the coat pocket or in your car. Have extra gloves available. Keep flashlights in each area that you may need them. In other words, next to your bed, near your favorite chair, near the fuse box in your car, because you never know where you're gonna be when the power goes out.
You mean not, gloves for warmth, right?
No, well, Netro gloves are like the rubber.
Plastic gloves.
Things like doctors put on, you know.
These things.
Those things. Well,
Yeah.
that's a little heavier than that, but yeah,
Yeah, little stuff like that, mechanic glove.
yeah.
Yeah. Stuff.
Well,
I mean, that's,
The reason that, again, we're talking about, this slideshow was set up for search and recovery.
yeah,
So they would have the little gloves, and if they're dealing with dead bodies and stuff, they can throw those gloves away and put another pair on real quick. They're not necessarily good quality gloves, but they're protection against certain things. That's what the trail gloves
So
are.
in case you need to help somebody that's bleeding, for example.
Yeah,
you don't
if
know.
somebody's wounded, you don't know what's in there, but you don't wanna get the blood on you, and you're helping them out, it'd be nice to have spare
Or if you're
gloves.
bleeding at the same time, you don't wanna get mixed blood or whatever.
Right.
Okay. This first aid kit illustrates good availability and good organization. Everything is easy to see, you have the clear plastic. I wish my first aid kit had the clear plastic, but it doesn't, but I know where things are in it. But that's just an example, that will fold right up nice and fit right in. That one's designed where you just put it right on your waist, but if you're doing search and rescue, you might wanna have something like that with you. If you're bugging out, you can put it on your waist or you can put it in your bag, depending on how much room you got in your bag. Fire extinguishers. Now, I have one there I keep in the trunk of my car all the time. These here are aerosol cans. They actually will put out a bigger fire than that thing will. They'll spray for a longer period of time and they're lightweight and you can put one right in your bug out bag.
Is there a problem with that in the wintertime?
I don't know, I've never had to use it.
No, but I mean, just like no problem with it leaking or,
That one's
blowing
about
up.
4 years old, it still says it's got a good charge on it. I bought a twin pack, the other one I kept in my truck. I used the one in my truck, I was out here and the lawnmower caught on fire. And I was next to my truck, and so I jumped in there and grabbed it, put fire out with it. And it had been in my truck for a couple of years, so. But it was summertime, obviously it was a lawnmower, I wasn't putting anything out in the
what,
winter time.
ABCs for chemicals, is that what, like if you had a kitchen fire, long, put out chemicals with that, or?
Yeah, this is a chemical fire extinguisher. This is not like a halon extinguisher. I used to have a really nice halon extinguisher. That would put out any fire. It was great. You could spray it through the radiator to put the fire out. The problem with halon is it takes the oxygen out of the air and that's what puts the fire out. My mom worked in a computer lab at General Motors, and when they had to hit that halon, you had like 30 seconds to get out of there. Otherwise, you'd be knocked out. But they kind of made them outlaw for some reason. But the bad part about halon, it'll put any fire out right now, but a fire that will smolder, once that stuff evaporates, it could reignite. But I used to keep one of them halon fire extinguishers on my boat. And you don't have a big mess to clean up afterwards either. But these are like aerosol cans, like can hairspray. And they'll put out a fire and, let's see, it says if you have to leave your current room to find a fire extinguisher, you're likely not gonna be able to douse the fire with a handheld fire extinguisher because it's burned too long. Aerosol fire extinguishers are relatively easy to carry, they're fairly inexpensive, and they perform better than larger typical fire extinguishers. First Alert Tundra, 32 seconds of discharge versus 8 seconds on one of these.
Yeah, those go up fast.
Yeah. So,
these are only 8 seconds?
Yeah, they go through like that, yeah.
and those will spray for 32 seconds.
And it's called Tundra?
Yeah, First Alert Tundra.
I wonder if we could buy those like by the case, so everybody buy into, you know what I mean?
Yeah, probably could. Get some people to get together and pitch in and split the cost. Okay, the highest availability is what you know. Your observation skills, good judgment, safety skills, first aid, survival skills, knots and rope craft, signaling and communication. Those are all skills that you learn. Again, we're talking about what's in your brain. That's your first availability. The perfect kit does not exist. Your needs change with each situation. You may be forced to lighten your load during evacuation. Modularity helps to meet the need without sacrificing important items. What do they mean by modularity? Stuff like that.
Nice.
They're clear plastic. I got these in the cosmetic section, by the way. But you can, like, this is my meds and my hygiene stuff. This is all my fire starting stuff. I've got multiple ones of those in there. But that way, if I have to lighten my load, I can say, okay, maybe I don't need this, but I need that, you know? So, let's see here. Okay, look how hikers and Dave and bikers, and soldiers and campers for good examples for how to pack light for a variety of challenges and tasks.
Yep.
Consider multi-use items. For example, a t-shirt can be used as an extra layer, it can be used as a diaper, a water filter, it can be an emergency dressing, a flag, a dust mask, etc. Hiking staff can help with searching to poke into things in the field. It can be used as a crutch or a pry. It can carry make it into a splint if you need to. If it's appropriate length, it may even be able to make a stretcher pole, as well as helping keep balance when walking with your pack. A web belt may be adjusted to most any diameter and can be used in a variety of tasks. Web strapping material, for example, it's especially suited for crimping, can be for climbing. Wow, my eyes are getting bad. Especially suitable for climbing. It can be used to make climbing harnesses, as a rescue rope, or to help lift or lower heavier items. That says, or lever items. I don't know what that means.
Lever,
It says lift or lever items.
lifting.
On lifting, I get it, but anyways, it doesn't matter. That's what it says. I didn't make the slide. Okay, consider transparent containers. So you see at a moment's notice what's in there. And clear labeling on both storage and transport of modules. I haven't done that yet, but we were talking about that card with all the port numbers and stuff. If you make a card and you have these things identified, card will say pouch A has fire starters, pouch B has hygiene stuff, pouch C, and then you can just grab whichever pouch you need for whatever. You can just look at that card. And let's see here, list the contents of each module so you don't have to search through each module for particular items. Perhaps color code both the list and the zipper pulls on your pack. I don't know if you can see this or not. You see these different color zip ties I have on here? So when I make that card, I can say, I've got these items in the yellow one. I've got these items in the red one. So that way you'll be able to get to them in a moment's notice without having to search your entire pack.
Nice.
Let's see here.
What did you call those, the transparent containers for?
Individual modules.
Now you divide by hygiene, fire starting, etc.
Well, you divide them however fits your needs.
Yeah.
That's how I did mine. Yes, Dave?
It was funny, but clean clothes versus dirty clothes.
Well, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
you can do that. I actually have a bigger one of these. When I bought it, it was a pack, it had several different ones, and they all fit in this one. Well, this one was a little too big for my bag, but, you know, for dirty underwear, you throw them in there. I mean, you may be more apt to have a couple of pair of underwear than an actual couple pair of jeans.
So the one guy we were hiking with, he used his clothing bag as his pillow for sleeping at nighttime.
And if anybody's interested, I got some more of these colored zip ties if you wanna put them on your bags, or in here it shows, I think they're like shoestrings, different colored shoestrings. There'll be a slide here that shows that too.
The one trip we thought that he was sleeping, he says something died underneath the shelter. He come out,
Oh, no,
he
just
was
BO.
laying on his dirty clothes bag.
It's just
His
BO.
clean clothes bag, so.
Yeah, well, again, and if you have the luxury of being able to drive out, you can take extra stuff like that. But if you're hiking, you're not gonna be able to take a lot of extra clothes with you. The clothes are heavy.
Yeah, it takes a lot of space.
They do take a lot of space. Okay, in practice, try to get something out of your kit in the dark. Unpack, inspect, and repack your kit frequently.
It's a good idea.
There's the colored ties that he had on his, and that's a cert bag there. He put the name on the bag. You see the LED light on there, color-coded zipper pulls. Those are a lot easier to see than mine, but I didn't want something that big hanging off there, because when I'm hiking or whatever, it could get caught and hung up on stuff. So that's why I went with the zip ties. And until my eyes go completely bad, I can see those colors. Consider the distance or the obstacles that you intend to be capable of traversing with your kit. Can you travel that distance, climb those hills or whatever, with the weight of the bag, or how bulky it is, or is it like gonna hurt your shoulders? And how's your balance? You put that thing on, it's pulling you backwards, right? Can you climb up that mountain, or that big hill, with that thing pulling you backwards without falling off? Include cordage so you'd be able to climb the hill and then pull your bag up. Let's see, consider items which might snag or catch. If you're carrying stuff and you're climbing up and if you're in a tight spot and it catches, it can be a real problem. It could even pull you back off that hill. We don't have a whole lot of hills right here in this area, but there are some in other parts of the state. And if you happen to be in another state, let's see here. Can you run with your kid? I can't run without my kid, so it doesn't really matter. That's something to consider. Consider how it fits, whether you need to put extra padding on the straps or in the back or whatever, so you could run with it. And what if you fell on your kit? Number one, is stuff going to get damaged in the kit? Number two, are you going to get hurt for landing on your bag? That's something to think about. Hopefully it doesn't happen, but you never know. Robustness. You need to be able to count on your gear, but you also need to be able to keep it within a budget. Know how to use your equipment. Practice with it. Don't just get things and put them in your bag and never use them, because then when it comes time and you have to use them, you may not know how. You better to practice with it and know how to use the stuff. Let's see, understand the limitations of your kit content, and consider a packing list, an inventory card, the load limit of your cordage, for example. I got some cordage in here. If my bag is 42 pounds and my cordage is rated for 30 pounds, it may or may not pull it up there. Typically it would, because for liability reasons, they underrate them, but it's something to consider. Maybe you need to lift something heavier than your bag. Let's see here, battery life and battery operated in any of your battery operated devices. So say you've got a battery powered radio and it goes through your batteries every 2 days and you're gonna be gone for a week, how many batteries are you gonna need? Or do you have a way to recharge your batteries? I have a solar charger here that will recharge some of my stuff, my phone and some different things.
Oh, that's nice.
That one, what's really nice about that, you see the cord here that goes with it, but I got that free from the NRA. I want to review.
Oh.
This is actually a glow-in-the-dark stick. You ever see, remember those posters that used to put the light on and you shut the lights off and they did glow?
Mhm.
That's what this thing does. It's not super bright, but if you're in a tent or if you've got a tarp and you made a little shelter, it would light that up enough that you can see a little bit. You won't be totally in the dark. Let's see. No expiration dates on stuff you have in there. I've got some jerky in here. I've got some food packets in there and stuff. Know what the expiration dates are on there and check them often. Because the last thing you want to do is get out in the field and have here's something really good. Keep in your car.
I've seen those.
There's 6 little rations in there, each one equivalent to a meal. Can you read the date on that?
1,200 calories.
We got January 16 of 21.
It's
I
still,
hope
it's
it's
still
still good.
good. But actually, those don't taste bad either. That's the apple cinnamon. And I thought when I first got them, they would be dry. They don't dry your mouth out that bad. But that's 6 meals. If you're stranded in a car, it may not be a full meal, but it'll give you the nutrition of 6 meals.
Ration.
Yeah, there's 6 little squares in there.
He told me about pumpkin, and that's.
Oh, pemmican, yeah.
Yeah, pemmican,
Yeah.
I've seen those at
My
Walmart.
nephew gave me those when they expired. I'm like, really? I'll take them.
Are those expired or Best Buy dates?
What's it say? Does that say best with used by, or does it
It's,
say?
This is Best Buy.
No, it don't say that. Date of manufacturing is January 16. And you got, that other one's lot, you got expiration date January 21.
Expiration.
Is it EXP or?
But
Yeah,
my rule of thumb on that stuff is, if the package isn't swollen, you open it up, it doesn't smell bad,
Yeah.
it doesn't look bad, I'm gonna eat it. You might try eating a little bit of it and see how it does. If it makes you sick, don't eat the rest of it.
You'd be able to.
That's a good idea. It's
Um,
probably still good.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's still good, sealed But, he said he bought those at Meyer, by the way.
Yeah, Meyer Walmart sells those.
Yeah, I've had them for 5 to 8 years afterwards, as long as that ain't punctured or sealed.
Yep.
They just get a little harder, but they're still edible like that.
And I found out the mice like them too.
Yeah.
The problem is, they're not courteous enough to finish one before they start another.
The seal, yeah.
Okay,
I prefer to keep stuff like that in my bag. than-
also consider
Yeah, me
testing
too.
and improving your basic safety gear. Let's see here. During a disaster is not the time to learn that your gloves don't fit properly, or that your goggles fog up and they don't fit over your glasses. Ensure you have the required cleaning supplies for your gear, and know the quality of the knife that you're using or any tool, because some knives are pretty sturdy and you can pry a little bit with them, others will snap right off. It's a good knife, you can't go wrong getting a good knife. Spend a little extra money on a good knife. Okay, ensure your kit makes sense for what it is to be used for in the situation. Always consider your own safety and survival first. What you need to do for you. If you've ever been in an airplane, first thing they tell you, if those masks come down, put yours on first before you help somebody else. Because you're no good to somebody else if you die while you're trying to help them. Always take care of yourself first. Run through several what-if scenarios to test your plans. What if it rains while I'm out there doing this? What if my pack or the item in it is lost or fails? What if your pack or the item in it is lost or fails? I already said that, didn't I? Sorry, it's small print, it's a little ways away. Space blankets, packed too long, may tear at the folds when you untear them. Those little silver, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
'Cause I got some in my kit. Let's see, are supplies packed so well that you can't find it or don't want to bother digging it out because you don't want to try to pack it again? I mean, some people do it. They get the bag packed, everything fits in there good. I don't want to mess with it. It's ready to go. But you need to try to get stuff out. You need to practice with it to make sure you're comfortable with it and you know how things are going to go. And sometimes that means you got to unpack it. Let's see. Are you carrying so much that you can't find what you need? Before I went to this modular system, that was a headache for me because everything was in there, but I had to dig through everything to try to find it. Now I've got them, kind of put in together and I know where each one's at. Label or tag your kit to help you find it when it's stored on a scene with other people. Now, that's more important with CERT probably than it is bug out, because most people aren't gonna let their bug out bag out of their site. But you still might want to. If you two people in the same spot and have identical bags, you could accidentally grab somebody else's and it may not be packed for you. Like I got some medication in mine, ain't gonna help somebody else probably, but it's gonna hurt me if I don't have it. Okay, cash and coins. Coins are good because you may find the only food you can get is out of a vending machine. And if there is no power, some vending machines will still work. The old crank knob ones, some of them won't. But you should have some coins in your pack. You should have some cash too, because credit cards aren't gonna work. People learned that not too long ago after the hurricanes down in Florida. Their credit card machines didn't work. They couldn't buy anything with a credit card. A notepad and a pen and pencil, it's always good. A paint pen, scribe permanent marker suitable for marking any tools that you choose to share with somebody else that you may want returned. Put your name on them. Also, I've found through the years, I have a lot of tools. I used to be a mechanic. I'll loan a buddy a tool and then I'll forget I loaned it to him. Years later, I'm looking for that tool and I can't find it. And I said, I think I loaned it to Tom. And I call Tom, he's like, I don't have that. I'll call Jim, I don't have that. Make a list. When you loan a tool to somebody, put down their name, have them sign it. Then, when you don't have it, you say, well, you took it on this day at this time. And when they bring it back, of course, make sure you sign it that they brought it back. That way you can keep track of your stuff a lot easier.
Another way, especially if it's not like one of these situations just every day, have them take a picture of them with your item that they borrowed, so you have physical evidence that they borrowed it
Yeah.
too.
But I'm just saying, I've lost hundreds of dollars worth of tools that way to people
Oh, yeah.
that swear they, I was nice enough to let them borrow it. and they didn't think enough of me to bring it back. So, let's see here. Inexpensive items to supply to people you wish to help. That's gonna, if you were in a certain situation, maybe in a bug out situation, you probably aren't gonna pack a lot of extra stuff to help somebody else out. But like I got some extra earplugs, if somebody needs earplugs, I can give it to them, you know, stuff like that. But there's like a disposable flashlight or disposable knife or a marker or spare pen or something. Doesn't take up a lot of space. You might be able to share that with somebody. Compression straps can be used to secure or affix splinting or provide direct pressure on a dressing, so that might be something to consider. Ensure you have basic supplies near you.
Hold on, what does the compression strap look like? What's it made of? Is it like stretchy?
Yeah, they use like when you give blood, instead of tape, they put this thing on there. It's like a stretchy, sticks it on there, and then you just peel it right off. But it's stretchy, it's a compression strap.
So like if I had a splint on my finger and I wrapped it up with that stuff, the sticky sort of, that's what that is?
Yeah,
Like
Okay.
vet wrap?
yeah, you can get it in different thicknesses and stuff.
Okay.
Is it like vet wrap?
I think so.
Okay.
It
Like
compresses.
what they put on dogs when they get their,
Yeah.
yeah, their IVs.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. But it wouldn't hurt to look it up, just to make sure, because I'm not a doctor.
Compression strap.
Okay, ensure you have basic supplies near the locations where you spend the most of your time. In your bedroom, you're gonna wanna have a flashlight near the bed. House keys, a light stick or a streamer. I'm sorry, it's a little blurry for me there on that screen. These eyes are getting old. These are reading glasses, they don't help me that far away.
Lights, streamer, toss to rescue.
Hey, it's bigger up here. Okay.
Shoes under the bed, cell phone,
Yeah.
charging.
Flashlight near the bed, house keys on a ring, a light stick or a streamer. That would be for the rescuers to find you, especially police if there is a home invasion. Shoes under the bed, a cell phone and charger in the room, your favorite chair. You might want to have a flashlight, fire extinguisher near your favorite chair. I know people who keep their favorite pistol near their favorite chair too. I may or may not be one of them people.
In my bed, and my toaster.
Yeah, I lost all my firearms in a tragic boating accident a few years ago.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah, boating accident. Yeah, well,
It's all under.
They're gone. I don't know.
Yeah,
they're the
That
bottom
government,
of the
I don't have any anymore.
wink, wink. Yeah.
Your toiletry kit should include hygiene article, things like toothbrush and toothpaste, comb, soap, tissues. Consider adding a sleeping mask, similar to what you might use on an airplane, earplugs, wool socks, and medicines. Perform what-if exercises when assembling this kit. What if I had to spend the night in a shelter with about 200 other people?
No.
Smelly, stinky other people.
Yeah, no thanks.
What if my team, this again, search and rescue team, let's see, what if my team had to spend the night in a restaurant or a gas station? Or what if I had to spend the night in my car? Consider integrating the toiletry kit with a mess kit. I
Input
don't know
and
why
output,
you'd want
right?
to put those two together.
Input and output, man. You both
Well,
input and
I have-
output.
Like in my toiletry kit, I have these toilet paper things that don't have a center roll in them, so they're small. I don't want to keep my toilet paper with my mess kit. I don't
Yeah.
care if it's not used, but that's.
Yeah, probably gotta keep it separate.
Okay, special needs kits. Let's say you're having to care for an elderly or special needs person while you're bugging out. Then there are things that you're going to need to have, like toiletry kit, pay particular attention to their medications, consider what the person would need to be able to communicate, whether, if they can, that might be a pad of paper or specialty items for handicapped people. Prepare an introduction sheet if the person cannot clearly communicate while under stress. Write the basic things with instructions to provide a note of to the rescuers. So, what's that?
I see we got one of those like that and don't hear it now.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, if you've got somebody like that and they can't communicate, you can have a note to hand them that say, hey, this is so-and-so, and they have this disability and these needs, and that way you don't have to try to remember them, because your brain's gonna probably be scrambled at that point anyways. And if they can't communicate it, it's best to have it already written down. Consider a file of life for the refrigerator door. You know what a file of life is?
All your information out up there, yeah.
All your emergency
Something
contact
like that.
information and like what medicines you're on and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And cause rescuers know to look at the refrigerator for stuff like that. Again, a lot of this is search stuff too, it's not necessarily bug out. And like I said at the beginning of this, starting next month, we will be no longer in this facility. We've sold this facility. We will be moving to 6020 Corona Road, and that's where our next facility, or our next meeting will be held at. So if anybody comes here looking for us next month, they're gonna be here by themselves, unless somebody else
Just
comes
that
here.
way, it's west.
It's on Corona Road, just west of Dye Road.
Oh, okay, yeah, it's on the right up here.
Yeah, it's on the north side.
Yeah, it's-
You've probably driven by it and seen it.
Yeah, I think it's two of them in it. Something
Well,
like a wood framed one and then.
I don't know, this particular one, up until December was known as Genesee Valley Church, but
Oh,
they
okay.
closed up
Yeah.
and we bought the building. Back many, many years ago, it used to be a campground, church campground, and they sold off a lot of the property and stuff. But you should see the kitchen in that thing, cause it was a camp kitchen, it was a camp kitchen, it's a big kitchen in that church.
When was that built, about 60, 65?
I don't know, we got a couple buildings, I'm trying to figure out the garage, they got this garage there, and next to it, they got this other little building, they look like tiny houses, and then I'm looking across this gravel road, and all these houses like right on top of each other, tiny houses, and then it dawned on me, these were all cabins at the campground at one time. Somebody converted one into a garage, happened to have a cement floor in it, you know? But we only got 2 of the cabins. We've got 7 acres over there. Here we had 50. Here we mowed about 20. So our mowing time has kind of come way down. So, anybody have any questions?
Yeah, when you were talking about your mini kit, you said survival kit, so what kind of things are in that?
In a survival kit? It's gonna be different for every person, but things like, if you have to go and it's an absolute, these are the absolute must-haves, it would be your medications maybe, maybe your, a knife and a phone and stuff like that, the things that you absolutely have to have.
So, the everyday carry sort of stuff, plus medications.
Yeah, maybe you can't take your full bag with you. Anything else?
It's
Okay,
just in batteries, man, trying to, the life is so short now as it is, and
well, that's why I said,
trying to
keep
charge
the
them,
batteries, unless they're rechargeable, keep
Yeah.
batteries right next, even the rechargeables, keep them right
Yeah,
next to your pack,
Yeah.
so you can grab them and throw them in, because I've had a couple of times where I pulled batteries out of my pack and they were all corroded and nasty. And this way, when they're beside your pack, you're more than likely gonna rotate them when you get new batteries, and then you'll know if they're corroded, you won't put them in your bag.
Yeah, they seem to
Try
try
to stay away from things with batteries too, they make these neat little hand crank.
Yeah, that's
flashlights.
right.
Yeah, I got one of
Pretty
those.
cheap.
self-charge,
You're just looking for something temporarily, a 72-hour bag, or, get home, that's great, because I don't have to worry about a battery, but wind it up a little bit, hey, it runs for 2-3 minutes. Like you said, the glow sticks, they work great too.
Piece of my brain.
Now there's a radio version. Yeah, I think it might have.
It has a flashlight on it too.
Yeah, that's it,
Let's see here.
that's it.
But, yeah, that's a hand crank.
See
Get tired after a while.
Oh yeah.
Good exercise for us anyhow.
It's not getting reception in this metal building.
That's it.
Right. Yeah.
Type of deal.
But anyways, I set out some tables here. If you want to grab a table and lay out the stuff in your bag, and then we can walk around and look what each other has in our bags. I've found in the past, that's a good way to find the things that you didn't think about. So somebody else said, oh, that's a good idea. Yes,
So you have 4 days worth of food, how much water are you taking with you?
I'm not taking much water with me, but I have stuff to strain water.
Okay.
You get a filter or
water
something.
with. That way one of the things I do not have yet that I wanna get, I forget what they call it, it's a key, it's got like 4 different sizes. You go up to a commercial building, it's got
Oh, yeah.
like the little hex thing, you can slide it under, you can open
Yep.
up the spigot on a commercial building.
It's a good idea.
I forget what they call them, some sort of key, but
Water key.
Water
They're like
keys.
$7 on Amazon to get 3 or 4 different keys.
yeah, cause those would be something really handy to have in your kit. But yes, I have, different, life straws and different things for getting water with.
The military carry 3 to 5 liters usually, but you can go through that in a day.
Yeah, well, me, I sweat like crazy, so I'm probably drinking a lot of water anyways. I do have a water thing in here, but it's just one little pouch that somebody gave me.
I got a water filter I can show.
Yeah, okay. But anyways, I'm gonna stop the video and, yes, ma'am.
I was just gonna suggest, if you're on maintenance medications, every time you get your prescriptions refilled, change them out in your bag.
Yeah.
Especially cause like, your doctor might have changed your prescription on you, that way it's most up to date.
Absolutely. In fact, when I went through mine just yesterday, I noticed I had some pain pills in my kit. I haven't been on pain pills for a couple of years, but I could have used some here a while back. And I'm like, oh, I wish I would have known those were there. So, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and stop the video right now. If we can still answer questions, but if you wanna just grab a table and lay your stuff out, then we'll walk around and see what everybody has.
Yeah,